Hello, hello. I think I'm going to be late for my own funeral. Might be a good thing. I'm so sorry. I took my dog to the park for the first time. She wouldn't walk on the ground. She wouldn't walk on the ground. She wouldn't walk out the door. She wouldn't walk down the steps. I had to carry her. Sad. But we made it to the park. She actually walked. Hallelujah. We got to the concrete. She wouldn't walk again. Gonna have a long talk with that pup. Anyway, hello and welcome to Dear Dana. I'm so happy to see all of you here. We have a heavy duty topic. Not that heavy, but a duty. Hello, Mr. MC. My dog's a puppet. She's a puppy, not a puppet. But yeah, she's seen mainly the house since we got her. So everything was overwhelming and new. Hello, Fields of Grace. Please check out Fields of Grace 101 on her new channel. JC Bear, Ordered Steps. Who else is in here at the moment? Mr. C, so happy to have you. Tonight's topic is going to be Miss Britney Spears. As we know, she didn't, physically show up in court, but because of Covina, and we know it's kind of settled now, but she showed up online in the courtroom today. So we're going to be discussing some of what's going on with her, some of what she demanded, what we think of that, and also maybe some of our experiences that have been similar to hers. Of course, not on the scale that she has had to endure. And what we think about what is possibly going on. Because we don't really know because we're not there. But from the outside looking in, we can kind of make our own assumptions. And professionally speaking, I don't know everything because she's not my client patient, but I can make some assumptions of what I think might be going on. But I definitely feel for Brit. Let's be honest. So before we go any further, let me drop my intro. Here we go. Okay. I was watching some of what was going down and hearing some of what was going down, but if I'm blinking a lot, I think I have a hair in my eye. Don't you hate that? Hair, eyelash, and you can't find it, and it's still just going. So if I'm not flirting with you. You get me? Unlike, I wasn't flirting with that person. If you missed the show on Saturday night, before we go further, if you did not watch the end of that show, let me tell you. My friend Busy Blue was in the chat, sending me sweet notes and giving me support because we were talking about a really heavy subject, and I knew he felt like he couldn't pop up, so he gave me support and he left. I knew for a fact it was busy, and he left. As I'm closing out the show, all of a sudden, I get someone wanting to pop up on the chat, and it said Busy Blue. And I'm like, that's strange. Why is Busy back wanting to pop up on the chat? So without thinking, because I love and trust Busy, I popped him up because I couldn't see his face. And let's be serious, if I'm not wearing my glasses, I'm half blind anyway. So I pop it up and I still couldn't see anything. So I was like, I can't see you. I don't see anything. Next thing I know, there is a man exposing himself. And I assure you, it was not Busy Blue. Wrong hue of the Crayola box. Of the Crayola crayon box. 100% it wasn't Busy Blue. So we had my daughter was laughing her butt off. She's an adult. Well, she's 19. I was trying to get her to edit it for me. She was just laughing her booty off. And I'm walking in here and going, "What are you laughing so hard?" And she says, "Of all the people, you're all chill." And then bam. So she's laughing. She blurted out and she said, "Your reaction was so funny." So she played it again. And I'm sorry, I had to gut laugh at myself because it was funny. After the fact, it was funny. It wasn't funny when it was happening. So I don't want any more of you thinking anything about it, because if I can't see your face, you're not coming up. Can't see, if I don't know it's you, you're not coming up. But the reaction after the fact, yeah, I have to laugh at myself. It was funny. So we left the reaction in. So if you need a good laugh, catch the end of the last show. But all of you that are ever thinking about doing that again, do not. I'm a loving and kind person, but I will send some juju your way. Trust and believe. Anyway, let's get to the show on Britney. She did appear in court today. She actually, I guess she saved all those words that she's not giving to us on Instagram. She gives us some. She mostly spins around. I think that she really got it all together for the court. She apparently used a few profane words, but she wants the whole thing done. She wants her dad off of it for sure. From what I understand, her dad, I may even have to pull some stuff up. Her dad has been making $100,000 a year, people. $100,000 a year as Britney's conservator. That, let me tell you, that's outrageous. That does not include the 1.5% that he gets off of Britney's anything else that she makes from sales of her merchandise, her music, etc. He gets 1.5% off of the rest of the stuff. But, oh, thank you, Mr. C. He gets $100,000 a year just to be her conservator. Yeah. Plus, he's her father. That is insane. Let me break it down. Hold on. Basically, he gets $4,000 a week plus $2,000 for an office to be her conservator. She is restricted to $2,000 a week allowance. $2,000 a week allowance. That is all Britney gets. She has $60 million. Hello, Monica Hall. Britney, basically has $60 million plus. So she's restricted to $2,000 a week. She said in court she cannot make any decisions, even as far as the color of her kitchen cabinets. Period. She cannot ride in her boyfriend's car. She has to be taken in an appointed car. She has security appointed to her. She has to get permission to go on certain vacations and has to be allowed the money to go on the vacation. She is not allowed to get married. They are supposedly supposed to have say in who she dates, so I don't think Sam Asghari was on the list. She is not allowed to marry Sam Asghari. She wants to have a baby. They implemented that she had to get an IUD against her will. Against her will. Are you hearing me? She was forced to take jobs and work during the 13-year period. She was told what jobs to take. Back in 2008, when she had the mental breakdown, that's what they're calling it, when she basically had gone through a divorce, had the issues with her, the issues with her ex-husband and the kids, got frustrated at the paparazzi following her around everywhere when she had asked them not to, and she beat up the paparazzi's car and shaved her head after they'd been following her. That is when they placed her in a facility, a mental health facility, and her dad took over conservatorship. Okay? By the same token, if I'd been through a divorce, was fighting over the custody of my children, paparazzi was on my tail left and right when I was begging them not to, begging, during an emotionally difficult time when I was young, and things were just melting before me. Let's put ourselves in her position. And she was depressed and had anxiety. If I was trying to prove a point and wanted them off my back so they wouldn't take my picture, I might have shaved my head. I might have beat up a paparazzi's car after I'd asked them a trillion times not to take my picture. Who knows? I might have. And that because I'm easygoing generally, they would have said that is out of my norm and I had lost it, and they might have put me in a facility. They might have. How many of us have been pushed to the brink where we've done something out of our norm? But she happens to be in the public eye, right? Like a big superstar, since she was in the Mickey Mouse Club. Now rewind back. We're talking about she was, 10? Younger, maybe? A long time, most of her whole life, she's been in the public eye. Like right up there with Michael Jackson. Same scenario, almost. Not same, but you get what I'm saying. Most all of her life, she has been in the public eye. Not catching a break, not catching a breath. So, here she's had these babies. And women out there, we know what it's like after you've had babies. She's going through a divorce. She's going through custody. She's going through court. She's still performing. She has paparazzi on her butt 24/7. She's dealing with all this emotional stuff. She's still trying to put out music. She's still working. She's a perfectionist. People are telling her what to do. Feeling like she doesn't have control over her life. And I saw clips, paparazzi hounding her butt, and she snapped. Yes, Fields of Grace says, when I went through my divorce and was fighting for my kids, going through a deep depression, and my ex was following me, stalking me, I was at the point of breaking down. I was ready to end it. That is bad. I'm so sorry about that. That is awful. And that is, one of us that has what we would call more of a typical life. And here she is with more of the pressures mounting with a not so typical life. So they put her in a facility, they try to diagnose her, put her on medicine. Here comes this conservatorship. But I want you to look at it in 13 years. She still put out music. She still had music videos. She had a residency at Las Vegas. She hosted talent shows. She still went on things like Ellen and other talk shows. Yeah. She still did music videos. She still worked. She still made tons of money. She still showed up and did the thing. She still went to her kids' ball games. She still parented in and out of this. Now, we're not talking about perfect parents, but we're also not saying her ex-husband, K-Fed, was a perfect parent. Hear what I'm saying? She still made appearances. But the whole time she has a conservatorship. During this period of time, it comes out that Kevin Federline gets into it because her father apparently got a little physical or abusive, allegedly, we're going to say allegedly, even though it's out there, with one of her sons. So there was a restraining order out, and one of Britt's sons did not want to see the grandfather any longer. So he was kept from seeing Britney's two sons, and Kevin Federline backed it up. It is alleged, but it's also out in the public and been printed and on the news, etc., that Britney's father drinks too much and can be abusive with his mouth and physically. Allegedly, I'm going to say allegedly for the purpose of my show. So here we go down the road. Time is passing, and her parents get divorced. I know that Britney's mom is supposedly supportive and more on her side, and she has a sister and a brother. She is supposedly close with her sister Jamie. Isn't that her name? I'm confused because it seems like Britney's siblings, her dad's Jamie, but it seems like one of her siblings has the same name. Okay, her brother is Brian, and her sister is Jamie Lynn. We also know her from Disney. But it seems like she has a close relationship with her sister. So, be that as it may, it's kind of a rocky thing because the brother Brian seems to, I know he loves his sister, but he seems to ride the fence about the whole thing. And Jamie talks about how great her sister is and how close Britney is with her sons and how they spend time together, etc. But it seems like they don't really come out and say a whole lot. Oh, hello, Diana. Your best Barbra Streisand voice. Thank you for coming. It seems like to me they don't they're protective in what they say, as though they don't want to go too much either way, like they're trying not to upset the parents. That is what I feel like. It just feels like it's complicated to me. It's very complicated. But in my opinion, it's too complicated where the dad needs to get out of there. I feel like the dad is taking advantage. I feel like she's right in that. Britney said today in court that the conservatorship feels oppressive and controlling. Oppressive and controlling. And that it has been abusive and traumatic for her. She says her dad is abusive and he scares her. Her words. Not mine. Her words. She wants to marry her boyfriend and have a baby. Now, I told you she was forced to have the IUD. She said during, again, I'm going to flip back. Hello, feisty Canadian. Welcome. Yes, he has had control over her far too long. I think it is a conflict of interest, honestly. I really think he may have cared in the beginning, but I feel like, he's gone on with his whole life. I don't know who he's dating. I feel like he does, in my gut, does have a hot temper and does drink too much. I feel like it is a conflict of interest. She said during the Vegas go, she was in a disagreement about some of the choreography, and they were upset with her about it. And so, because of the blow up, they said, well, you don't have to do the Vegas show. She felt like a weight was lifted off of her. Next thing she knows, she is in a mental health facility. She has been put in one and put on a ton of medicine. When she comes out, she is watched over by nurses for a month. And then in, I believe it was 2018, they had her fill in for Simon. We know Simon Cowell, because he was very sick with bronchitis, in a UK talent show. I will not name it. And Louis from the UK talent show said they had her so drugged up on lithium and other stuff that they had to keep getting her attention and propping her up in between acts, because they had whoever the conservators and the nurses and everybody else had Britney so doped up that she could not pay attention. Now, hearing that and the look in her eyes when I see her on Instagram quite often, and she looks kind of out of it in her eyes to me, explains a lot. Because when I had to work in the hospital and do placement for different cases of people with mental health disorders, as much as I hate to say it, if they were not diagnosed properly, if some didn't have insurance, or were frequent flyers, for lack of better, would come in all the time and did not take their mental health seriously, they would often over-medicate the patients. Just to be able to manage them. And once they left, some of these records would have so many medications in them, because the patients were not clients, I prefer to call them clients, were not being monitored or heard or overseen well, that these medications would stack and pile up. And people that needed to be more well cared for or have adjustments made or really heard were so over medicated that they could not function. And in my opinion, I would see some of them that had no quality of life. They were walking around like zombies in their own lives just to be better monitored or controlled. Oh, I hope Emily does go. Now, flipping back a little bit, when Louis said she was way over medicated, I believe him. Now, in her home, is she way over medicated in her home? Possibly. Or maybe she's doing videos at a time where she's medicated and feels a little loopy. I don't know. I do not know the time of day that she's making them. The other thought I had is, if Dad wants to call me crazy, I'll show him crazy. And maybe some of these videos she does on Instagram is sort of like a spit in his face. Because she has said, as long as this conservatorship continues, she will not put out more music, perform, or put on a show. Yeah, Feisty Canadian, I have seen those videos where she talks so fast I have to back it up and try to catch what she's saying again. Now, the judge did say, ask her to slow down a couple of times because she was talking too fast. But, hey, if I'm anxious, like when my son or daughter, when my son was still here, and there were medical things going on or things that the doctors were not looking at that I knew were occurring, and I was anxious or my adrenaline was up or I knew they weren't looking at things, I would talk fast because I knew they were only going to be in there for a millisecond and I wanted them to hear me. But doing it on Instagram, that's a whole nother thing. That's probably medication. Or maybe it's just her nature. I don't know. It's my opinion. In my gut of guts, I feel like she's probably bipolar. If she has anything. And she's probably suffering more often than not these days. Hello, Marcy. These days, she's probably suffering more often than not on the more depressive slant. But in general, I feel like she's probably more bipolar because more often than not, a lot of artists are diagnosed with bipolar disorder because when they're in the manic phase of bipolar, that's when they're the most on top of things, the most creative. They come up with the most ideas. They do the most of their work. They're throwing out albums left and right. It's when they are in the depressive phase and the depression kind of lingers that they take breaks and they're in that slump. That's why a lot of times doctors try to neutralize it or get it more balanced so they don't have the long depressive states. Yeah, the bipolar, you're right, Fields of Grace, the bipolar depression is extremely difficult, the depressive state, because it lasts longer, it lingers, it's harder to come out of. So I feel like she probably, that is what she's mainly dealing with. And her dad jumped right in there. His intentions may have been good to start with. But I feel like when they put her in, initially when she had the meltdown, if they 5150'd her, and the parent goes in with these intentions, and they're throwing in their own insight, saying certain things, they can make it look like it's something else that it's not. Giving in their input. Now, a smart psychiatrist or psychotherapist or psychologist may be able to see beyond it, but the input from family and stuff does take, it does become part of the soup of diagnosis. What is a 5150? A 5150 is if a person has psychological problems where they may harm themselves or others, a family member and one other person generally can have a form filled out called a 5150 where this person can be picked up by a pet team or someone else against their will and taken to a hospital to be assessed by someone like me, that's what I used to do, or someone else, and put in a mental health facility against their will for up to 72 hours or longer to be assessed and get some treatment and possibly put on medication to help reduce the chances of hurting themselves or others and get on some kind of treatment plan. Does that make sense? So when I said today, at this point, is she being used as a puppet? Has it changed from trying to help her to being used as a puppet for a lot of people to make money off of her and live off of her wealth? You know? Or is she a scapegoat where people are saying she is this and that and the other, like a victim? Hello, Sun TV and Major. Like they're blaming her for all of these things. Like her dad's got big issues, right? It takes the light off him if she's the one with all the problems and then he makes all this money. And the lawyers are taking $30,000 a pop. Dad's making $100K plus a year, plus 1.5% of whatever her music brings in. I don't know if mom's making anything. So you got the attorneys, you got dad making bucks off of her, you've got drivers, you've got nurses checking her out, you've got, I don't know who else. You've got a team of people around her making bucks. So she's paying all of these people. Tons of people are making money off of her as we speak, and Brit gets $2,000 a week. And she's got $60 million plus in the bank. But she can have $2,000 a week allowance. Sound fair to you? But she can't pick paint color for her cabinets. Hey, Kai Bear. Can't quit using an IUD if she wants. Can't ride in her boyfriend's car. Cannot make any decisions whatsoever. Zero. Nada. I'm surprised she can make decisions about what food she eats, can she? I don't know. I don't think she's even really in control of what goes out on social media. I don't. I do not think she is in control of the messages that goes out on her social media. I believe it goes through some kind of filter. Do I feel like Britney has zero going on with her mental health? No, I do feel like she has something going on with her mental health where she could use an assistant or be in therapy or be on some kind of medication to level her out. Yes. Aw. Well, leave me then. Fine, feisty Canadian, fine. Dear Dana, I'm jumping over to Jolene and Busy, but I love your content and I loved your appearance on Jolene's channel. You're awesome. Thank you, feisty Canadian. Tell them hey for me. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming over. Now I don't know what I was saying. Somebody help me. I got brain damage. I do believe she could use some. I appreciate you. I hope you subscribed at least, please. I do believe she could use some help. Look, I believe we all have some mental health issue, whether it's tiny or big. We get depressed. We have anxiety. We have fears. We all have some degree. Some degree. It could be 1%. It could be 90%. No one makes it through this life. No one without some degree of mental health issue along the way. No one. Most of us just learn skills to cope, some better than others. That's the truth. Some of us depend on meditation, prayer, God, running, jogging. Some people self-medicate with drugs and alcohol. Some go to counseling. Some have better support systems. We all have some degree. All of us. So if you meet anybody that says, oh, that dude's got mental health problems, baby, you got them too. All of us do. Some of us are just born in families where they go, it stays in this family, don't talk about it. That's the way I was raised. What happens in this family stays in this family. Keep your mouth shut. That's how I was raised. And children are to be seen and not heard. And Brit's from the South. She was probably raised the same way. Who knows? But Dad doesn't want his stuff coming out. And then Mom and Dad got divorced. They may not want their stuff coming out. Although I think Mom wrote a book. So there's probably a lot of stuff in that book. But we all have skeletons too. We all have skeletons too. Right? So, looking at Britney as a whole, Britney's dad needs to drop this is the other thing. They said all these years, all she had to do was say the word and the conservatory would be over. She said today was the first time she had heard that she had that option. I don't think anybody ever told the girl. I understand, Kim. No worries. I'm sorry. She said today was the first time she heard that she even had a choice in the matter. Now, that makes you wonder how much information she even gets in her home. I feel like she feels like, look, I would feel like a prisoner. I would feel like a prisoner. Wouldn't you? I feel like there are better options. I feel like there are better options. If you're hearing a lot of dinging, I'm so sorry. I need to cut something off so it will quit dinging. So I'm going to throw down the link and see what anyone has to say. I am really surprised. I think I am not seeing a couple of my normal people today, like Vintage is usually here. I kind of wanted to see how the wall was going. Maybe she wasn't interested in Brit. But I also wanted to throw this down because I feel like it's not that far off from if we have felt like we've been scapegoated. That's okay. Ooh, I love the UK, but you say Canadian. Why do you say Canadian and you're in the UK? I love a UK accent, but we have felt scapegoated in our life. I'm sure everyone at some point has felt like the scapegoat. Where somebody, hey, look, listen, I'm going to whisper it about, Beefy. Just about the tea. They scapegoated that girl big time. Players, they used her as a scapegoat, in my opinion. They used her as, I'm Canadian, but have lived in the UK since 99. So let me ask you, feisty Canadian, have you adopted a British accent since living in the UK? I'm curious, if you move and live there that long, do you adopt the accent? My husband moved from Denmark probably, I'm going to say 30 years ago maybe. And he lives in the South now. And we tell him he speaks Dinglish or Danglish because he sounds like a Canadian, but a Denmarkian. You get me? He still has his Danish accent, sort of. Well, he does. He hates to order food through the drive-thru. My family in Canada would say yes, but no one here would agree. They say I sound Canadian. Well, if I were to go anywhere else in the United States, probably, except for, well, even if I went to other southern states, they would say my accent's different. But if I went to anywhere else in the United States, they would say something about my southern accent, for sure. And that's in the United States. If I went to California or Ohio, New York, they would give me a big deal about my accent for sure. But I wish I had a UK accent. Oh, thank you, feisty Canadian, so much. I loved being, I could not believe she invited me to be on. I didn't know what I was doing when I hopped on. It was the last minute. It was the last minute. And I do not consider myself a funny person at all. So, but I had a blast. I love Jolene and Busy. So anyway, I dropped the link in case anybody wanted to come up, but I feel like there's going to be a big revolt if they do not drop the dad off this conservatorship. Oh, thank you, feisty. If they do not drop the dad, there's going to be a big look. We think people were breaking glass and having fits in the United States over politics. The Free Britney movement, they're going to be having a fit if dad is not done so. What do you think? How am I still getting these ding-dings on my... Are you hearing that? That... If this does not change since Britney has spoken up during court. They say she has been waiting for years to be able to speak directly to the court. The judge did tell Britney that it was very brave. Yeah, the dad should have dropped. If he said he loved her and he missed her and he was sorry that she was in so much pain. If you're sorry that your daughter is in so much pain, drop it. Cut yourself out of it. Let her choose out of her own thoughts someone that can help her to handle her money. Look, if she screws up and marries the wrong person, so be it. So be it. I would not want anyone telling me whether I can have a child or not. Listen, when I took Cleo to the park today, my mom and I ran into developmentally delayed adults. That is I'm not putting them down whatsoever. I'm professionally speaking, and look, I have dealt with, diagnosed, tested, run the gambit. Ooh, let me make sure it's you. I don't need any more of those cameo surprises sticking in my face, girl. Phew, hallelujah to you.
It's me.
You heard what happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. But anyway, let me finish what I'm saying real quick.
Okay.
There were 2 developmentally delayed parents in the park who had a child. She was fine. She was bright, and she was asking the right questions, and it was obvious they did a wonderful job with her. You get what I'm saying? But yet they're trying to control Britney, whether she has a child or not.
The thing I was thinking about was you were saying, oh man, don't let me lose my thought. I thought that the whole thing was she was under the conservatorship until she reached a certain age, and then she was going to be dropped back down to control her own stuff. But hearing what you were saying earlier about how that there's been that clause in place the entire time where she could have just said, "Hey, I'm good. Can y'all let me go?" I hadn't heard that before, so that's the
But
first time I'm hearing of that.
I think we're talking 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
That something's not right.
Well, because her dad, he's always seemed really slimy to me, and I think it's all about the money. And as long as he has control of her, then he has control of that money, and that's why he's not letting her out of it, because he knows as soon as she's out of it, he doesn't have that money anymore. Which is why I applaud her for not doing shows and not doing all the stuff that was bringing in the money, because, like I said in the chat, maybe that's her way of saying, "Oh, you won't let me go? Okay, I'm gonna stop the money supply to force you to let me go."
Yeah, but the problem is she got $60 million.
Mm,
Hey, Black
okay,
Lavender. Hey, Kai. Let me see how old Britney is. Look, Janet Jackson was 50 and had a baby.
right.
And you got enough money, you can make things happen. Now, whether she's 39 years old. Yes, she can still have a baby.
Hmm.
Somebody said they thought she was too old.
No,
She
because didn't Halle Berry have a baby when she was like 40 something,
she was about,
almost 50?
yeah.
So,
Britney could still have a baby.
but I wanted to jump on here too, just to say, hey, and I've missed you, but also to answer the question that you posed: is she a puppet or a scapegoat? And I was still saying scapegoat, because my definition of that is, um, as a scapegoat, people are just using whoever that person is to wipe their own problems on, so that they don't have to deal with them,
Yeah, I mean,
deal with the problems.
look at her
So,
dad. If he's drinking heavily, which it said he is,
mhm,
allegedly, got to
mhm,
use that word,
mhm,
and he's, There was a order for him to stay away from the grandkids because the little boy said that he got physical with him, in a more of a violent way.
Mhm.
So he's not supposed to be around the grandkids. So, and she's scared of him. What is he doing handling her stuff? You would think she could choose somebody that feels like they have her best interests at heart.
And see, and I feel like that option was out there. They just didn't tell her that. They kept a lot of stuff away from her, and by they I mean her dad kept a lot of stuff away from her as far as the information. But I feel like that there was an option that she could have chosen who had control of the conservatorship, and he just said, "Well, I'm her parent, so I'm gonna do it," and took off with it.
And think
That's
of
what
it
I think.
too. Usually, they don't put conservatorship on somebody unless they have dementia, Alzheimer's,
Mm,
and you're elderly and you can no longer take care of your important decisions.
mm-hmm.
And if it's somebody young, it's only temporary
Right.
while you're in a mental health facility or you're healing from something. And then once you're out, it's released.
Right. And see, that's where I got that idea of thinking that, once she got out of whatever that facility was, that they put that 5150 on her, once she got out of that place and got into a better space, that it was done. Or by the time she reached a certain age, like say that she was under the conservatorship for maybe a couple of years after the fact. That's where I got that from. I don't know if it was out there, but that's what I was thinking. So it still boggles my mind that he still has control this far in. So,
I mean, I could see if they said, okay, we want to lock down X amount of your money.
hmm
So if you get involved with somebody, they can't blow through your money that you made
hmm
and take advantage of you. I can see that.
okay. Yeah. Especially with the Kevin Federline relationship. And then that one guy that she married at the chapel for like 72 hours and then got her childhood friend. What was
Yeah.
his last name? Alexander, something Alexander. So,
Yeah. But
that
now
kind of stuff.
she's wanting it to be dropped without any further evaluation because she thinks as an adult they've done enough evaluation and that it's unfair at this point.
I can see her point, but I still think the dad should be dropped off of everything because he's just being greedy at this point.
I completely agree with you on that. I think that he's just it, it's testy,
hmm
and plus the fact if she look, if he's completely gone and she says, okay, I'm going to go out there and make appearances and make music again and do what makes me happy,
hmm
that right there is enough.
Right. I can see that.
I
Oh,
mean,
and then go ahead. I'm sorry.
she had an album, I think it was called Revelation, that was about to come out probably 3 years ago,
hmm
and then all of a sudden it was put. I think that was about the time that she didn't agree on some choreography at Vegas, and so it never came out.
See, I didn't even know about that. I
Yeah.
didn't even know about that. There was something else that you said earlier about how we all have some level of, how did you say it?
We all
Mental
have,
illness.
yeah,
Okay, and I agree with that wholeheartedly because of the fact that if we're all being honest, something something has caused some, not maybe not as traumatic as others, but there are levels to it. And I know for me, the only reason I agreed with it so fast was because of the fact that with me having cerebral palsy, I have brain damage
yeah,
because of that. And so, because I used to be like, yeah, I don't have mental illness, but when you put it in the vein of that, then yeah, I can say, yeah, of course. And then those times when you slip into the depression, not for long periods of time, but if you do that, I mean, that's part of it too. So I had to come to terms with that. So
I
I
mean,
just wanted to say
mental
that.
health, mental illness. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. So,
I mean, look,
but
I'm a psychotherapist, and I admit there are times I get. I mean, I lost a child. I would be lying to you and everybody else if I did not say there are moments I slip into grief and depression, but I have to take myself back out.
mm-hmm, yeah,
I'm human.
yeah. I have to remind myself of that every now and then because I feel like I'm like, no, I can't have emotions. I'm a cyborg. I have to be good. I have to be happy all the time. And then
I
I have
mean,
to remind myself I am human and I can cry and it's okay.
yeah. I mean, every person that goes in the field of psychology to
Mm-hmm,
help people we're required to see a therapist first.
mm-hmm.
So we don't put the things that bother us, we don't project it onto people we're trying to help.
Right, and thereby making them scapegoats.
Hello, Zanzarius. I'm so happy to see you. He's saying, yeah, don't be a robot.
Okay, I'm trying not to. I promise. I
Yeah, no,
promise.
nobody wants to be, you can't connect with people if you try to be a robot and don't express your emotions.
But when, and I'm speaking personally now, but when you're taught that you have to be strong all the time,
Right.
and I mean, not that like my parents didn't teach me that, but it was because I'm so used to doing everything by myself and taking care of myself that I've learned to like still myself. Go, okay, don't lean on anybody but God, and you're good. And so, and anytime that I'm getting ready to cry, I will be like, oh, my allergies are acting up. I gotta go to my car. I will shut down in a minute. But I'm getting better. I'm getting
Yeah.
better at it.
But
So
I was raised the same way.
yeah.
To be stoic, don't cry in front of people.
And
Don't
don't let them know your problems.
no, don't be a baby. Don't talk about what goes on in this house.
hmm
What happens in this house stays in this house.
hmm
Don't be a wimp. Don't tell people your problems.
hmm
Suck it up, right?
Yeah.
If something hurts, don't talk about it.
And like you were saying earlier, maybe Brittany went through the same raising since she's from Louisiana, and like you said, from the South. That's how a vast majority of us are brought up.
Yeah.
So
Zinzaria says, I'm so happy he's here. He's my buddy from another channel. Um,
hey,
Fill yourself to overflowing so you can raise others up with you instead of being dragged down by others who relish their torment.
amen,
Yes,
amen.
there is nothing worse. There are
Right.
people that love, we've seen it. We've seen it on the YouTube streets. There are
hmm
people that love drama and chaos and torment and love nothing more to be miserable so they can get jacked up and take people down.
And that's why I stay in my little corner of the YouTube streets, right, right over here.
Baby, I tried to too, but I still had people try to come after me. You know what I mean?
And yeah, but you got us to help you out. We'll come after them too.
And by
So.
the way, I am so happy to see you, and you look beautiful.
Thank you, dear. But
You
I'm
do.
so happy to see you too. If I
And
could
you
hug you, I would.
and you know, you are not the first one that has said that to me. It's like the second or third person in the last couple of days that have said that they were like thrown off where they weren't seeing my page and all that. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, and I went in and it said that I wasn't even subscribed or anything, and I was like, "What in the world?" And I was like, "I hope Dana doesn't think that I'm not supporting her because I am." So I had to go back in and physically subscribe twice just to get it to be set back up. So
And I love it because I'm about to hit my goal for this month. And
I'm so
I'm
proud of
going,
you.
thank you. And I'm going to be doing like healthy meditations and healing and stuff. I'm going to give it away on Zoom. So
All right.
if you've got some pain going on, you got to join me.
Okay, I'll do it. All right. Well, I'll drop back out in case somebody else wants to come in.
Oh, I love you so much.
Love you too.
Thank you.
Uh huh.
Zendarius says, if I remember correctly, Britney was 16 when she had her first soundtrack. Baby, hit me one more time. Just about legal in the UK, and that was Toxic. We heard Baby Hit Me One More Time around here when she was in that little schoolgirl outfit walking down the hall with the lockers. That was the first soundtrack we heard. Baby hit me one more time. Hey Marzi, what you doing? You want to come up and talk about it, Zendarius, or are you shy? But we heard Baby Hit Me One More Time around here, and they were like, it was sort of on, they talked about, how sexy her clothes were. Some of the moms were a little bit, why is she wearing that? And all the teenagers, especially the teen boys, were like, ooh, let me listen to that. I want that poster. But, we all remembered her back from Disney. So she's worth big bucks. Why can't she create her own dream team? Or help pick and choose? But I agree, the dad's got to go. If she feels unsafe, let her pick some of her life. Life is short. Why make all that money? Yes, put money aside for your children. But she needs to be able to have some freedom. There's three sides to every story. His side, her side, and the truth. I believe she has some mental health issues, but I don't believe they're maybe as extreme as her father portrays. You get what I'm saying? So there needs to be a clearing of the house, in my opinion. They need to clean house, regroup, make it smaller, and do it in a way that makes Britney feel safe, healthy, and supported. That does not, maybe let her mom sort of from a distance say, okay, I see that this and this and this and this person are doing the next right thing for Britney. So I'm sort of like, I know these people, and I see that they're doing X and Y and Z, but let her conservator be who she chooses. You get what I'm saying? Who agrees with me? Anybody? But yeah, they need to clean house. Enough is enough. 13 years for a young woman. So you're looking at since she was 26 years old. I have never heard of a conservatorship for someone that is walking around having a life like this. We have all felt like we've been controlled. Someone's puppeted our life or been a scapegoat in some way. I know when I was younger, there was a time I didn't feel like I could make decisions. I was raised where I had very strict parents, and they pretty much made decisions for me. When to come in, when to leave. My mom bought all my clothes, and I wore what she bought. They were very strict. Told me what I could do, where I could go, etc. And when I left, I had a lot to learn. And it got to the point when I could make decisions, I didn't always trust the decisions I made because I had to figure it out. You know what I mean? And I know my parents were trying to do what they thought was right. But when you go out in the world, you have to try to make correct decisions for yourself or fall on your face and learn from that. And that's kind of how I had to do. Right? But then we end up in situations in life with people, and you have to read the room correctly and learn who is really there for your best interest, who is not, who is trying to set you up or use or manipulate you, who is not. But imagine being in her position. Do any of you have an opinion about what's going on with her? What you think would be the best possibility? Yes, Zenzaria, she was technically a child. Like we were talking about, she started out in Mickey Mouse Club when she was a kid. She was on Star Search. They had a talent show back in the day called Star Search. And she was on that show trying to win. So her parents threw her into everything left and right because she could sing. And because she had that bubbly personality. And lest we forget, she was in that movie. Oh, what was it called? Crossroads? Before she had the babies, she was in the movie Crossroads. So she's had her toe in everything. Aw, Zenzaria says he likes your voice. Zenzaria has I do believe, a British voice. But I have not heard it. I'm glad Black Lavender came today too and ordered steps. But I cannot help but feel for her. Every time I see her on Instagram, spinning and spinning and spinning, or doing dance moves that I have never seen her do when I see clips from her shows, I'm disturbed. And so many other people are disturbed because that's not the Britney we know. That's not the Brit we know. Because she's always been a go-getter. She still exercises like a crazy woman. Sets up her shows, does the music, wanted to be in control of the music. So something's got to happen. You cannot be under a microscope like a mutated cell or a mouse in a lab 24/7. I'm amazed, and they may, for all I know, that they don't have a camera set up in every room of her home. It will be interesting to see how this pans out. Really. She said her dad wanted this court session closed because of some of the things that she was openly saying in court. Like forcing some drugs on her. She demanded to the judge that this court hearing be open to the public so the public knows everything that's going on. So maybe we will finally hear everything that's going on and we'll get a better clue of Britney Spears' state of mind. And try to determine to what degree that she actually needs guidance. I cannot imagine someone guiding every moment of my life. I mean, it's like she did say, she said, I made all the money and I'm paying, everybody's getting paid out of my pocket. And did you know, oh my goodness, she has to pay the court cost on her father's side, on the conservatorship side. She's got to pay all of her court costs, and she's paying all of the other court costs as well. Because how do they make their money? They make their money from Britney. Now, isn't that a kick in the butt? You know, we all grow up thinking, whoa, I'm going to be a singer. I'm going to be a star. Well, we don't all grow up. But, you know, a lot of us grow up little thinking, oh, I want to be a rock and roll star. I want to be a movie star. I want to be famous for doing this. I want to write a book. I want to drive a race car, whatever it is, right? It sounds really cool to be famous. But then you look around and you think at how much their life is under a microscope. Yeah, how is that even allowed, right? Everybody around her, everybody in her life, pretty much, maybe not her mom, brother, and sister, I guess, but everybody else around her is taking money out of her pockets in areas. No joke. As long as this conservatorship is going on, people are making bank. I was telling them earlier, Zenzarius, do you know her dad makes $100,000 a year by being her conservator? Plus 1.5% of everything that comes in from her recording career. Yeah. She gets a $2,000 a week allowance, while she has $60 million in the bank. She gets a $2,000 a week allowance. She is forced to wear an IUD, so she can't have children. She cannot ride in her boyfriend's car. She's not allowed to get married. She has security that follows her. She has to ride in an appointed car, get permission to take vacations, where she can go. Oh, and her dad made sure in particular states that he's legally the conservator in states that she primarily has homes in. Yep. So she's like a legal prisoner. She is a legal prisoner. So I'm pretty sure she has to get permission to buy or sell a home, and probably permission to what home it is and the location. And I feel like her photos that go on the internet are probably approved and set up. Yes. Like when she's boarding a plane, when she actually gets to go to the beach. You don't see that many photos of Britney outside of her home. Not that many. So, it's a hot mess express. Beyond. It's very disturbing. You know, I know that she has said she gets to go to her kids' ball games. You do not see, correct me if I'm wrong, I do not get to see many, if any, many photos with her kids. As far as Sam Agari, her boyfriend, he seems to support her. She met him on a music video that he was in with her. Order Step says, I'm over here shaking my head because there are no words. I could not imagine having to live through the things Brittany has. Live in quotes because she's only existing until this thing comes to an end. Yes. I can't help but to feel for her. I can't help but to. I mean, just being under that conservatorship alone would depress the heck out of me. Whether she has some deeper mental health issues or not, that alone would depress me. I would feel like you know how when you go to jail or they say you can have in-house, what is it called? You know when you have to wear that thing around your ankle? In-house, it's not in-house prison, in-house jail or whatever. That's what it feels like to me that she has, almost. Like she's in-house prison, sort of. I've just never heard of it going on for 13 years. Yes, house arrest. Thank you, order steps. It feels like she has leg tag. Yeah, house arrest. It feels like a bad idea. It just feels like there's going to be a big, bad horror movie about this down the road. It feels like a bad idea. I cannot imagine me being a part of my child being this miserable. The dad probably thinks, oh, her boyfriend's there, she lives in a huge mansion, and no. I mean, he goes, I miss her and I love her, and I'm sorry that she's just sad. Well, I miss her means he doesn't see her. And he probably has no communication with her. So, dude, you shouldn't be taking her money. That means you don't know what her state of being is like. So why are you making money off of her as a conservator if you don't know what her state of being is? And you miss her, which tells me you have no idea what is going on with your daughter. Duh. That you're in it for the bank at this point, in my opinion. Allegedly. But as far as Samagari, yes, he has a pretty face. Yes, he was in the video. Yes, he's been living with her. Yes, he's been supportive. Apparently, she's in love with him. I don't know what his deal is. He says he's in love with her, but something feels off. I know he wants to get into Hollywood. I just don't know about that relationship. What do you guys think? Have you seen him? How do you feel about their connection together? Do you feel like he's after the fame and the money? She's the one that basically wanted his phone number and hit on him. You know, I have not seen enough of an interview or the dad's personality to know if he's a narcissist, but I definitely feel like he's a user and he has abuse issues. But I just don't know. Something feels off with this relationship. I feel like he looks after her well-being, Samagari, but in the big picture of things, do I feel like he really wants to grow old with Brit? I don't know. I mean, I feel like he's more interested in maybe making it in Hollywood or getting a piece of her money. I mean, I'm assuming he lives free with her since she only gets $2,000 a week allowance. I don't know what that setup is. Are they paying him behind her back somehow to be her babysitter? He lives with her, Marcy. But I have wondered in my gut if somehow, because she was interested in him, that maybe they said, hey, Brittany likes you. Why don't you move in and we'll pay you to kind of be her babysitter, but under no circumstances are you allowed to marry her. I cannot help but feel that because a certain car he drives, if she's only getting $2,000 a week, there's this sports car that he said she bought him, but if she's only getting $2,000 a week, how did she buy it for him? Right? How? How? He lives in the house with her, so he's not paying that bill. He gets exposure. He works out with her every day. They take vacations together. I cannot help but feel like someone behind the scenes said, look, we'll pay you. Be her bodyguard. Work out with her. Be there with her 24/7. Under no circumstances are you to marry her. I could be wrong. It's just an off-the-cuff, weird feeling. I could be totally in left field. You know how that goes. And I'm super tired today from dragging my puppy out in the park. She's never been, like I said, in the beginning. So excuse how I look today. I know I look like a hot mess, but I'm not going to let my show go just because I'm tired and haggard. But I could not let this Britney thing go because when I was hearing, I've heard things here and there all along and I watch her, but I just cannot help but feel the slate has to be wiped clean. Oh, thank you, Zinzarius. I'll take pretty good. Thank you, Order Steps. The slate needs to be wiped clean and allow this girl to choose a team to be around her that is supportive, that will do the right things for her kids to protect her money, but let her have a life and let her perform again. Because she is a national treasure. Let's face it, right? Let's get the Brit back out there. If she wants to have another baby, Lord knows, famous people have nurses and nannies to help them all the time. And it takes more than one time, usually, in my opinion, in my experience, to get the magic going to make a baby. Give the girl her life back. Who's free to Britney in here? Let me see. Who's free to Britney with a small team? Who's free to Britney completely? I don't know how many people are left in the chat. And if you're watching this later, put it down in the comments what your thoughts are. Should the conservatorship stay in place? Should the slate be wiped clean and Brit get to pick a small team? Or who is free to Britney completely? Or did I repeat myself? I might have. I'm tired. What do you think? Should she be allowed to make her own decisions? Yeah. I think so too, Monica. Let her have a small team of her choice a support team. Look, if I knew I could pick certain people to support me, Marcy says free her completely. And a certain amount of money could be put back for my kids, the kids that already exist for sure. So no spouse or lover or whoever could take advantage of me and take that money. That's one thing I think Dad and other people are fearful of. That the gravy train is going to be cut off. What do you think? I think Dad is fearful that his gravy train is going to be cut off. I think Dad got a little greedy. Yes, I agree, Marcy. She can hire anyone she wants and create her own team. Look, superstars do it all the time. They do it all the time. And this is the other thing that irks me. How many male stars have you known or seen or watched that were a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? And I'm saying that in jest. Don't come after me, YouTube. Or YouTubers or creators. We can name a few. Ozzy Osbourne. Doesn't mean I don't love him. Trying to think of some more. There are more out there that have been a little left to center. They were creative. They put out music that was popular, people loved. You didn't see the men in white jackets coming after them. You didn't see family with conservatorships coming after the men. Oh, yeah, Kanye. Look at Kanye. Why isn't somebody locking his butt up and having conservators all over him? You don't hear the free Kanye, the free Ozzy. You don't hear 13 years of all this all over these people. Why? Let me tell you why. Because they have testosterone at high levels running through their bodies. Yes, sirree. No offense, men in my chat. Mwah. No offense to you whatsoever. That's just the way it is. Back to being puppets or scapegoats. That is just the way it is. Because even with the issues they deal with, they are given more respect. They are not controlled. You're welcome, Censarius. You know I love you. You're my buddy. You look after me when I go to YouTube school. That's what I call it. But it's really the truth. If you look over history in music, in art, in movie making, for the most part, the creative artists that are dealing with some of this, you don't ever see this unless they're too messed up on drugs and in order to save their life, they've had to. It usually has more to do with drugs or alcohol and they've hit the wall and they had to save their life. Had to. But when it comes to mental health issues, you never see this. Ever. Ever. Because they want them to do their thing and make the money, and people just navigate around it. Or make suggestions. Or keep it shh. But Kanye came out of his thing, they're getting divorced, and then Kanye's living his best life again. But he's living his life. What's up with that? Hey, Britt, you need to put that argument out there to the judge. If you're listening, What is up with that? I thought about that earlier and that irked me. Yeah, and that buku kids. Buku kids. And we're able to have more kids willingly. Truth. Any kid they wanted. In any state with any woman. No big deal. No big deal. But you want to control this young woman's sexual, emotional choices, and even the color of her kitchen cabinets? That makes no sense whatsoever. Come on now. What the heck? The color of her kitchen cabinets. I do not get that one. Maybe that was going too far. Maybe we'll find out. I don't know. But Jamie Spears, for the love of your daughter and family in the country, back off, dude. Get your own help. It sounds like you need your own help so you can help your family. Sincerely says, I'm glad I made it to at least one of your streams. Sadly, I have to sleep. It's almost 3 a.m. I like your passion. I appreciate you, Zinzarius. Maybe one of these days, I'll get to have you up on the show and hear your voice and see your face. But thank you. Go get some rest. I appreciate you. I hope you subscribed. Please. Bye, Zinzarius. Rest well. What keeps flipping up on my computer? So, final thoughts. Anyone have any final thoughts? I can't believe vintage didn't come. I wanted to see some pictures. Aw, Zinzarius says, take care, Dana, and everyone else. Everyone sends Zinzarius love in the UK. Very smart, supportive dude on the YouTube realm. He's a great guy. I hope it was interesting. And I don't like what's going on. I feel for the sake of the whole family, especially his daughter, he'd find another way to make money. Aw, Margie says, love you, Zinzarius. You will find I have a very... Hey, Zinzarius, you have to come back when I'm doing, like, meditation, hypnosis, something like that. Any final thoughts about this topic? Any questions you have? Any experience you have had where you have felt controlled like this? Especially drop it down below in the comments if you happen to watch this later. Anyone? Why did they push Brit but not her sister? I think maybe because Jamie Lynn, she had a baby early while she was still doing her Disney show that was very popular. And I know Britney seemed to help her along the way. But I think that Jamie Lynn just sort of kept out of the limelight some. And Britney was like the superstar, making all the money. And sort of supporting the dad, I guess. Supporting the family. The mom and dad, primarily. I don't think Jamie is at the same level. She's married and has 2 babies now. But she's just not at the same level. And I don't think that she expressed the same emotional issues. And I think that Britney just really felt controlled all this time. Like a machine. Britney felt like a product. Yes. I don't feel like Britney felt like she had a choice. really. She was, I don't know if she's the oldest child or not. I don't know if she or her brother is. But yeah, they had her out there grinding as a kid. I don't feel like it ever stopped. So she's been producing bucks very small. And think of it this way too. God forbid, and I hope nothing ever does. God forbid anything ever happens to Brit. She would be worth even more money than she is now. I know her sons would get a lot, but what about her dad? If he was still conservator? You get me? Yeah. So he needs to be off of it. It's, I can't say for sure, Monica, but it does seem like once upon a time she may have. I mean, that does ring true to some degree. That does ring true. I mean, it just really makes me sick that she's running this whole group of people. This whole group of people all are making big money off of Britney. She's getting $2,000 a week. Now, that would be good money to me, but not when you made all this money yourself and you can't have access to it. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Monica. If she's not allowed to marry, Monica says, Dad would probably get the majority of the money and be responsible for giving it out to the boys. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Which is disconcerting. So something's got to be done. Something's got to be done. I mean, I cannot imagine being under that kind of tension and anxiety and pressure for 13 years. I'm going to be watching this like a hawk. And I'm probably going to do a part 2 on this. Probably. I'll think about it. I want to know in the comments if we're even interested in a part 2. And I'm going to be watching her Instagrams a little bit tighter. I mean, there's been conspiracy theories that she plugs little messages, hidden messages in there. I know at one time when there was an issue with her dad, the music was all sweet and nice, and the sign behind her, a little wooden block, said beware. So you just don't know. Yeah, it's a scary thought. And you hate to feel that way about your own dad, your own parent. Someone that's supposed to love and care about you more than anybody in the world. So now that he can't really see his grandkids and she's feeling this way, I bet you he's passive aggressive as hell. Sorry. And if he drinks too much and gets a little angry, yeah, I would be willing to bet it affects his decisions. She needs a detective. She needs to get a detective on her dad to scoop up some dirt for court. You hate to say fight dirty, but sometimes you have to when it comes to legal stuff. I'm not talking about all this YouTube stuff and all that crap. I'm talking about when it comes to this kind of thing. I hate to say it. I just don't feel good about her dad. And I want to know, what's your mom still in this? Where's mom? Where's mom supporting this? What's mom got to say? I wish I could interview mom. I'm just a baby YouTuber. I don't know that she'd ever talk to me, but I wish I could interview Mom. But on that note, please, if you have any questions, remarks, if you have any problems in your own life that you would like advice for, even if it's private, even if you don't want it here, or even if you want advice and you just don't want me to use your name, I'll do that. Please hit me up on Dear Dana3 on Instagram, or send me an email on miracles3@charter.net, or comment below. If you happen to want to support this channel in any way, you can support me at miracles3charter.net on PayPal. You don't have to, but you can. I love and appreciate all of you. If you have a topic you'd like to discuss, tell me that. I do plan on trying to have us work on a cold case for those interested, to see if maybe we could all use our intuitive selves to see if we could possibly find an answer that they haven't been able to find, that they have shelved the case for. Love you too, Order Steps. I would really like to open up a cold case and find the person who did it to help bring peace to a family, if that's possible. Maybe in the Dear Dana community, since we all live in different places, if we put our heads and hearts together, maybe we could do that. If you're interested and you know a particular case, let me know. I would love to do that with you. This channel is about helping, healing, support. Sometimes it's about social commentary. But this channel is not about hate. I love and appreciate all of the butterflies in here. You know that I do. It's about trying to turn your frequency up higher and reaching out to others and trying to understand more. I hope Britney is able to come back to herself and find some internal peace and happiness in her life. I don't wish her dad ill. I just wish him not to bring her any more pain and cut free from this case. I don't think there's a straight answer. I don't feel like she should not have support. I feel like she has too many people in the pot sucking from her. She needs a smaller team that's trying to really help her, that she gets to choose. But anyway, I digress. This channel is about making a difference and healing for ourselves. I am almost at the goal that I wanted for the end of June. Please like and subscribe. I'm going to give that gift because I'm so close. I want it to hit at least 250 to 300 by the end of June subscribers. Those that are interested, I will be doing a private Zoom in July, the early part of July, and I will be giving out, it's a special kind, not your normal, and it's a good one, free guided meditation on Zoom, or hypnosis on Zoom for groups, because I love you and because I hit my goal, as gifts that would be valued at $120 if I saw you privately. For the hypnosis, we'll talk about that to see if there is a topic certain people are interested in. If they're the same, I might have to break it up. But I want to give back to you guys because I respect and love and care for you, and I appreciate your support. And because I'm almost right there, I love you. I'm going to give in and give those gifts. And like I said, when I hit 500, I'm going to give guided meditation hypnosis, and I might even give a special kind of therapy. Oh, I want to give out this month too. I will do some distant quantum healing too on Zoom. I might even do it on the show, like I did, a couple weeks ago. But I'll do some quantum healing as well. I forgot about that. Um, See, I'm getting all blurby in my head thinking about Britney. Excuse me, let me cough. Anyway, when I hit 500, I'm going to give out a Beachbody on demand. So you can have all the workouts accessible to you. What were you about to say, Order Steps? So I'm getting blurby in the head? Anyway, I am cooked from my puppy getting out some energy. That poor baby, again, I'll tell some of y'all, because I'd kept her mainly in the house, she was taken away too early from her mom, and I got her from the kill shelter. I don't know if some of you've seen her on Instagram. When I tried to take her out of the house on a leash, you know how 2-year-olds will go pancake in the grocery store when they don't want you to take them anywhere and they don't get their way, they go dead weight? She did it outside. She went pancake and went walk. She refused. So I had to pick her up and carry her to the car. And now she's 4 months and not so little anymore. She just freaked and pancaked on me. So I got to my mom's and I get her out. She pancaked again. She wasn't going to walk. The world looked too big to her. Bless her sweet baby heart. The world looked too big to her. Now, don't all of us do that sometimes? When things look too big to us, we freeze, we get anxiety, we pancake. But she had talked to my mom on the phone a couple of times on speaker. She heard my mom in the screen porch. And all of a sudden, she popped up on all fours with me holding the leash and decided she's going to take off like a light to see my mom. And off she goes, running on the ground, and forgot about the world being too big. Because all she felt was love. You get my drift? So one of the things I meditate and pray about before I come in here is that I'm surrounded by light, this room is filled with light, and that I hope that when you leave here, that you feel better than when you came in. That is always one of my prayers. Aww, Order Steps. You need to tell me when you go on live, so send me a note so I can be there to help support you. But I always want you guys to feel better when you leave than when you came in. That's my prayer. Because this is a safe and loving place. If anything's ever bothering you, hit me up. Don't literally hit me, but connect with me. And I want you to know I always appreciate good humans. I always appreciate good humans. And your vibe attracts your tribe. Let's put out good juju, good energy for Britney. So the best and right decisions that she is connected and happy with happen for her. I hope that this, thank you so much, Monica Hall. I hope that this has enlightened us a little bit, enlightened you about what's going on with her. I don't want her to be a puppet or a scapegoat anymore. I feel like it doesn't matter that she's in a big house and has a good looking boyfriend and that she's got 60 million somewhere. I feel like it's tragic. It's tragic. I'd rather have my life. I feel like it's tragic what's going on. I don't know how you feel about it, but ooh, honey, I don't want that. I'd rather have free will any day. Free will. But you all are so awesome. I love you so much. If you haven't, please like and subscribe. It really helps me, and it helps me with the algorithms. Yes, I wish you success, order set. I really wish all of you success, happiness, love, peace, calm, health. You are all so worthy. And remember, your vibe attracts your tribe. And don't get so beefy if you go over to Jolene's. You know what I mean? And I hopefully will see you on Saturday night. Take care, everybody. Oh, it's 11:11. Make a wish. And I will see you later. Raise it on up. Love you, love you, love you. And we are out. Thank you for coming to Dear Dana. Good night. Love you. Ooh, where's my thing? Dun, 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 dun.